All right, guys, happy Wednesday, August 28th, coming to you feeling good. Unfortunately, I'm feeling something creep in, but I'm going to fight through it. I took some vitamins. I'm going to drink a lot of water. I'm going to take some Dayquil, and no matter what, the show must go on. The reason why I say that is I actually went to a show last night in Sacramento at this cool place called Rink Studios in Sacramento. It's in Uptown, which I've never been to that part of Sacramento. It was a little rough where I was at. Like they're just redeveloping that area, and it was cool. We even saw a soul singer named Sinead Harnett, and really, really cool show. However, there's no air conditioning in that venue. It was probably one of the hottest shows that I've ever been to in my life. My wife said, I don't want to move because I feel like I'm getting a little sick because I'm so hot. And then midway through, a true professional. I just love it. And I have to share this with you. Midway through, I saw something fly. And I was like, okay, what was that? And then I saw something fly again. And then I saw two things fly. Well, during her set, there's two bats that are flying around in the venue. And here she is, all sultry and sexy with the mic and just owning it and just in this moment. And like the bat is flying around. And she looks in, she sees it between songs. She's like, I didn't know that Sacramento had a safari. And she made jokes about it. And then the next song, the bat got even closer and closer to the stage. It was literally, I made a video of it. It was going across the stage. She literally laid down on the stage and didn't skip a beat and kept on singing no matter what. The show went on. And so mad love and respect for her to just say, no matter what, people are here for something. They're here to see me sing, and I'm not going to be a diva, and I'm just going to perform and sing my heart out. It was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. And you guys, mind you, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of shows, so I thought I'd share that with you. I thought it was a really, really cool moment. But I want to turn the mic over to Miss Ophelia. Ophelia, you're going to bring us out on the field this morning, but I think more importantly, I want to know like how you're feeling, how you're doing. What are you learning about yourself, waking up this early, going to the gym, all the things that you're doing in just the last couple of weeks. So Ophelia Vargas, I'm going to turn the mic over to you to take the team out on the field on this beautiful, beautiful day.
Good morning, everyone. Something I've learned about myself this week is that honestly, within like the second or third day of getting up, my body naturally started to wake up. And getting that gym done in that early morning kind of sets the tone because you're like, okay, one goal completed, and then I can continue that momentum going in. So I am pretty achy. I'm still hurting because what started this whole journey was because my hips, my knees, they're just always achy. And so I was like, I need to lose some pounds or just kind of strengthen my muscles so I wouldn't have this achiness going into, the rest of my 40s. So that's what's been going on. It's been pretty powerful. And actually, I have like a lot of more aha moments after the gym. It's like my brain gets all this clarity, and then I have like an inspirational moment. And I start now like, just spitting whatever comes to my mind.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And listen, you guys, I'm a huge proponent of exercise and just sweating, but I don't care I don't think you should have to do marathons. If you're not a 5 a.m. worker outer, that's fine, but just do something that serves your body, mind, and spirit. So appreciate the message. Yeah, the conversation when you get in your 40s, it's a little bit different. For example, when you're at a concert with your wife and you look over, you're like, babe, you know what I'm craving? She says, what? I said, I'm craving cereal. She says, 2 bowls, heaping piles. That's what we're talking about at the concert. And so even though we left a little bit early because the bats and it was really hot in there, but all we were thinking about was our bed and getting some cereal. So the conversation changed as we get a little bit older. But let's do this, you guys. Let's talk a little bit about the market. I want to bring something up. I want to turn the mic over to you. But before we get there, let me just pause for a quick second. I need to get a quick consensus. And if you're not on the team, it doesn't apply. So our lender partners, just stay tuned. Don't go too far. So by a show of hands, how many people on this call have ever used our in-house editing team? Please raise your hand if you've used our in-house editing team. Okay, cool. So the size of the group, the amount of content creators that are on this call, the amount of submissions that we're getting is super, super low. So I want to encourage everybody, I want to push everybody to make a video from wherever you are today. I'm not saying you have to go into the booth. From wherever you are, your feet are grounded, your ass is grounded, wherever you are, and make a video about a thought, a something educational, maybe something that you're feeling. I don't care what it is, whatever category you choose to make that video on, and send it to the Shredditors and tell them exactly how you want that video to look. You guys have an opportunity. We don't have any backlogs right now. I want to encourage everybody. If you have, they did. Okay, cool. Let's talk about that in a second. If you guys want to raise the level of your page, what it looks like, the content, like use the editors to make your video stand out in an even larger way. So I want to push you, I want to encourage you guys to get tons of submissions in and tell them exactly how you want that video to look, right? If you want it to be subtle, if you want it to be intense, if you don't like cartoons, if you want it to be emotional, what captions you want, if there's a video of somebody else doing a similar style video, you guys have an opportunity. I cannot stress how much that will do for your page, for your image, and for your visibility on social media, because your visibility matters more than it ever has. Dominique, you had a contribution, you had a thought, you had a weird request in your edit. Talk to us about that, and then we're going to move forward.
Yeah, on Team Fast website, they have what's called an agent introduction profile thing. So when you click on it, they have like pictures of you from IG that the team editors made or whoever did it, and they talk about you and you know what it is that you represent, like whether it's family with business or whatever it is. And so I was thinking I can't really do anything with it because it's on the team's website. So I asked them if they can make it into a reel. And he was a little like, okay, let me see what I can do. But he pulled it off in a couple of days. He was like, here goes your reel. You can add your music to it. And so I had initially asked Molly. She was like, "Oh, we'll see," and they ended up pulling it off. So it wasn't hard. It was just a little weird because it was from a website, and they just grabbed everything. And then I asked him if he can make it into like a booklet transition where it looks like it's flipping a book, and he said, "Yeah, he can do it," and he did it.
I love this. I love this. Listen, you guys, I want to also talk to you about not only using the Shredditors, but I want to talk to you about repurposing content. Danielle is here. Maybe she could chime in on this. You guys, as you're creating, you're going through different seasons of growth on social media. You're also meeting new audiences, right? When you first started creating content, maybe you had an audience, couple hundred people. You've been in the game for a while. Your followers have gone up. They might not have seen that video that you created a year and a half, 2 years ago. So what you can do is just take that content, repurpose that, put it in your stories, or take that same content, put a different audio over it or put a different voiceover on it and re-release that content. I just did that yesterday, and that one video got over 35 shares in just the first couple hours. And so I want to encourage you guys, sometimes you just look through your phone, you probably have some content in there that can have more legs now because your audience has grown over the years. So I don't know, Danielle, if you have anything to chime in on that. We're going to get into the market conversation in a minute, but do you think that, or encourage people to repurpose content as they're growing? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that because visibility is way more important now, literally than ever, this is where we need to use our insights. So every reel that you make has its own statistics, if you will. Instagram, this isn't coming from me, this is coming from the head honcho, Adam Mosery. He has said that one of the most important metrics that Instagram uses are the shares, not the saves, not the views, it's the shares. So I would encourage you to look through your content and see the content that has gotten the most shares. This is people that have sent it to other people or who have put it on their stories. That's going to give you an indication that that is a piece of content that you can repurpose. If for some reason you're just like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to like reinvent the wheel, I would just say copy that link from that specific video that has like the most shares, put it in ChatGPT and tell it, I want to repurpose this video. I want to re-record it. How can I do that while still keeping the essence of this video? So this is a time where we have to use all of the tools that we have available to us to maximize our visibility, to increase brand awareness, and ultimately to make more sales.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Obviously, this is not a social media plug, but this is a minor social media plug. Use the editors, repurpose your content. And one last thing, I would set a notification on your phone for CapCut anytime that CapCut comes out with a new trend or a cut or an edit that is doing very well, especially on the pro side of it, like you can look at that and be like, ooh, I actually like that. I like the sound of it. I like how intense it is. It goes perfect with my workout routine or my morning routine, or I got a lot of B-roll in my phone. My encouragement to everybody, when you're going to houses, when you're going to events, when you're going to networking events, you are snapping pictures, you're getting nice videos of the scene where you are. And then when you are looking at, all right, I want to create something that is in alignment with maybe fitness or maybe food or whatever it is, you have a whole library of videos and photos. You guys, my phone is stacked with options. So if I ever have an opportunity or need, I can just go into my phone. I have tons of opportunities. So get B-roll wherever you guys are. And I promise you that B-roll is something that you could use yourself, or you can send to the Shredditors, right? I attended this networking event. Here's a few videos of me, the girls, the guys, the drinks, the food, the scene, the speakers. Put together an event recap of this and make it intense and make it something exciting and fun. Cool, right? So B-roll is going to be important as you guys grow. Let me pull up my screen really quick, you guys. I'm going to go over a couple things that I'm going to pull it over to our, before I go further, sorry. Cynthia, you had your hand up, rapid fire. Before I get into my slides, what was your contribution? Cynthia going once, Cynthia going twice. There we are.
Oh, I had a question. What is B-roll? Or is that what you said, B-roll?
Yeah, B-roll is just, so say we're at an event in the office and I'm shooting some shots of the food, of people walking in, like not of the actual presentation or the event. It's all the things that are kind of happening around behind the scenes, right? So B-roll is just, yeah, absolutely. It's the extra footage that you can include into a video.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so grabbing that, it's really important because that can help with filler, especially when you're creating content. It can help fill in some gaps if need be. So let me pull up my slides really quick, you guys. I've just got a couple things I want to share with you, and then I'm going to go over to our lender partners, because obviously there's a lot of things going on right now. And obviously, if you guys are reading, if you guys are watching the news, if you guys are staying up to date on what is happening in the market, what you're going to see is a few things that are happening. And I think Ashley brought this up a couple weeks ago, and I think it's really, really important to see that existing home prices went up after 7 of the last 8 presidential elections. The only time that it didn't go up is right when we were in the housing crash of 2008, 2009. But as you can see, prices have historically gone up in the United States of America right after an election. And so, I think people and consumers have a misconception about the election. Oh, we'll wait to see what happens with the election. Maybe prices will come down. There's no indication of prices coming down because of an election. Now, no matter what side of the coin that you are on, I don't care who you are voting for. That is not my prerogative. What is important is that you guys are understanding the matters that impact the housing when it comes to construction, when it comes to rent control, when it comes to building opportunities, when it comes to funding for land, build, all these things, you guys, no matter what side of the coin you're on, whoever's going to be president in the next term, it's important that you understand where what their position is on housing. Now, some of that might be smoke, and we have to see that come to fruition in their first and second term or whatever that looks like. But the point is that we have to be aware of how these conversations are impacting our industry. Also, how our consumers are viewing that information that is coming down from either side. So it's important that you guys don't have to get political. What you have to get is you have to stay educated, and you have to understand how these measures are going to impact our business negatively or positively, or whatever way that you want to look at it. So the point of this slide is existing prices went up after 7 of the 8 past elections. And now mortgage rates are declining. You guys are seeing this. You guys are seeing the news. You're hearing it. You're hearing from your lender partners. So I think that it's a really, really good time for our market right now, specifically here in the Bay Area, Central Valley, as well as the Sacramento market. I think that this is an ideal time for consumers to get into the market. Now, we say that, but it's not always the best time based on what's happening around us and surrounding circumstances. And so these are 2 things that I want you guys to be super aware of. There's also an article that just came out, and I'm going to share this article with you in just a second. Let me pull this up. Where is this? Where is this? I have it on deck here. Marketing updates. Okay. So there is an article that came out through BizNow, and whether or not you subscribe to it, I would recommend that you do. That it was a free subscription. I'll drop the link down here below. That way you guys have it. So BizNow talks exactly about what are the plans. Now, the plans are vastly different. Let me just log in. There we go. Password. I won't say that out loud. Boom. All right, cool. Now we're in. So, like I said, it is vastly different how they are talking about it. Trump is not talking about housing as much as Harris is talking about housing. Now, obviously, there's probably some thoughts on what he's going to do about housing in the United States of America, but I think that this was a really, really important article for you guys just to read, to get a glimpse of how they are thinking, what are the projections, and what do they see happening in the housing market in the coming years. So if you click that link and you're not able to read that link, just register. It's a free registration. But I want to go to you guys. I want to first off start out with our lender partners. I want to hear from you. What is the sentiment? What is the understanding? What are you guys seeing with the market right now, the health of the market, the conditions, so on and so forth? And then I want to turn it directly to you guys, the people that are out there, foot soldiers, that are writing the offers, that are dealing with consumers, that are talking with the listing agents. What are you guys seeing, experiencing, and going through right now? So Jeff, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. If you would, my man, you were always so gracious with your information. And then Ashley, if you could chime in on this conversation as well. So let's go, Jeff. I thought I'd start it off with you, but let's hear your sentiment thoughts about the market right now.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here and talk to you all. I love this group. So it's been interesting because there was so much, the beginning of August, we had the jobs report. And actually, Elias, is it cool if I share my screen?
Yeah, I'll give you share screen, right? You got it.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just going to show you kind of what's been transpiring over the last, week or two. Let's see. All right. So you can see, you guys can see this right here. So,
Yep.
Two of the things that we track are, of course, the 10-year treasury. Now, this is, 10-year treasury notes, and mortgage rates, follow along with the 10-year treasury. So we saw right here, early in August, jobs report, and we saw it decline, rapidly, and everybody got excited, and this is where the media got a hold of it, and it created this excitement. Of course, the Fed starts talking, so just generated a lot of excitement in the market, and which is great. And we definitely are on a downward trajectory. I mean, the Fed is going to be cutting next month, but honestly, we've been in, I think the markets are in a little bit of in a wait and see mode. One, to your point, Elias, about the election and what's going to happen there. And then also the Fed, and what is the Fed going to do? Are they going to cut a quarter? Are they going to cut a half? Are they going to cut again in November and December? So you can see here, the last like 3 weeks, we've kind of been range bound. I mean, it's kind of going sideways. It's definitely on a downward trend, but not like, from the end of July to the beginning of August was a serious, like, okay, things are resetting. So, but I mean, we're definitely on this downward trend. But again, and we've talked about this a lot, such a great opportunity for buyers because people, I think, are pulling back a little, oh, let's see what happens with the election, which, is, a fallacy. You don't want to, we've seen what happens with home prices. So, it's a great opportunity if you're talking to buyers or sellers, but for buyers to get out there, still get a low interest rate. I mean, we're in the mid sixes, low sixes, sometimes in the high fives, depending on different factors, getting that seller credit still, but there's not that mania around it or frenzy around it. So, and then this is the coupon, which actually does track more of the interest rates. And actually, this is the price, not the yield. So as this goes up, rates get better. And you can see just a slow, not like here where it just shot up. So just this slow, roll, which again is a good thing. I like it more like if we're heading in the certain direction, but getting there slowly so people can adjust and get comfortable with what's happening. But again, to everybody's point, it's not a time to wait right now. It's a time to, have those buyers get out there, look at homes. and, hopefully still be able to get kind of the best of both worlds. So Ashley, we can kick it over to Ashley, unless anybody has any questions. But, she can give you, her sense in terms of application volume and pre-approvals and those types of things that are coming through.
Yeah, we'll pause there for a second before Ashley's contribution. Does anybody have any questions, any insights, any concerns, or anything that they want to ask Jeff before we go over to Ashley? Going once, going twice. Okay, cool. I thought I heard something, but maybe it was.
You guys can always hit me up as well on, text me, DM me, whatever. Just hit me up. I'm always available.
Awesome. We're going to turn it over to Ashley, and then we're going to open the mic up to you guys, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We'll do a hot seat and kind of round table this morning. But Ashley, let's hear from you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So Jeff hit the nail on the head. It's all over the media. The Federal Reserve basically flat out said we're going to cut rates for the first time. We've heard it all over, like, oh, the Fed's going to cut rates, but that was the market betting on the Fed cutting rates, or that was a blind study that they did from the dot plot. They flat out said we're going to cut rates. It's time for a policy change, and they have a lot of room to make adjustments if they need to make adjustments. But the important thing to keep in mind is that we don't know for sure what is going to happen until these reports keep coming out. So we're kind of on the edge of our seats seeing, okay, what's happening with the jobs report? There's a big report coming out September 6th, so mark your calendar for that. What's going to happen with the inflation report? And as long as those reports keep cooperating, interest rates will keep coming down. But anybody that says flat out they're going to come down 100%, they're more likely to come down for sure. But just know that it does depend on these reports coming down. And we are in this beautiful window where, I mean, I saw a 3% credit in Sacramento. The compensation was paid for, and they got the deal accepted within 3 hours. And then I had another one in Oakland that, they're paying their own and they're going well above asking price. So it's still a little all over the place, but definitely want to take advantage of this window, because if rates do continue to come down, as we all know, those seller credits are going to go away.
Beautiful, beautiful. Any questions? All right, cool. I thought I'd get some questions. Let's get Ophelia's contribution. Go ahead and take yourself off of mute. Let's hear from you. Anybody else? Go ahead and throw your hands up.
Ashley and Jeff. So the Feds have said it. Jerome Powell says the time has come. So we're going to get these rates cuts. Now, you just said that we need to keep an eye on the jobs report. So depending on the job report, whatever that's about to hit on September 6th, it's not going to affect the rate cut that's coming in September, is it? Or are you talking after that rate cut? I know it's like a quarter or 50 points. It's still up in the air. But after you just said that, I'm wondering, does it affect then for sure to cut that rate in September?
It would have to come in so surprisingly crazy for it to affect September. I don't think the Fed would have came out and said it if there was anything that was going to get in the way of that. But it will affect how much and for how long and what this journey is going to look like going forward. But I don't think it'll affect September's rate cut.
Okay, so to understand, it's not affecting September, it'll affect post.
It'll affect how much they're going to cut in September and going forward, in my opinion.
Right, November, there's another cut in November, supposedly to happen. So if those numbers come in not as favorable per se, there may not be a cut for November, but for right now, we're on track for September's cut.
Correct.
Oh, and last question. We don't know, again, 25 basis points or 50 basis points, but you folks have already adjusted to either 25 or 50, or how does that work? Because it doesn't have to wait until that date for rates to come down. They're coming down now.
That's such a good question. Wow, you are so smart. Yes. So the market's basically betting on things. That's how the mortgage rates are being determined, by a bunch of people betting on the bond market, which determines mortgage rates. So as soon as someone opens their mouth, oh, hey, we're going to cut rates in September, boom, people start betting. That affects the mortgage rates now, which is why when they actually cut, the spreads, the difference between mortgage rates and the Federal Reserve rate might be a little closer, but mortgage rates shouldn't take too much of a difference that day, because they've already been thinking about that now. They've already been moving as soon as they open their mouth and said it. Like if the Fed came out today and said, for sure, we're going to cut interest rates 50 basis points at the end of September, mortgage rates would move right now because people would start betting on them saying that right now. They haven't said that yet, but any type of news, anything that's happening in the world economy can affect mortgage rates based off of what people think is going to happen. So as you mentioned, the market, the people betting on this have priced it in now based off of what they're hearing on the news and what they're hearing and seeing on these economical reports.
Beautiful. Well said.
Thank you.
Any other questions or thoughts for Ashley or Jeff? All right, so here's what I want to do is I want to put a few people on the hot seat. And speaking of the hot seat, you guys, first off, I want to commend everybody for being here. A couple minutes ago, we had 56 people here for a Wednesday. That's a really, really good turnout. But there's a lot of people that don't have their camera on. Like, be here, be in this moment, show up, throw your camera on, and be here. There's never going to be a time that I would host this entire meeting like this. And if I did, I would expect for you guys to leave. Right. So I want to encourage you guys to be here, be present, and be in this moment. So what I want to do is I want to put some people on the hot seat, and then that person can pass the mic to somebody else. I'm actually going to go to a couple different regions in our market so we can hear what's happening, so you guys have some contrast. First person I want to go to is I want to go to Oliver. Oliver, you serve the Sonoma County market, so I want to hear from you. And I want to hear, like, what is happening with your buyers or your sellers? What's the research that you're doing? What are the hotter markets? Is Petaluma more hotter than Santa Rosa? Is Santa Rosa hotter than Windsor? Is Windsor hotter than, Guerneville, Geyserville, and Healdsburg? Like, tell us a little bit about your market, what you're experiencing, and what are the conditions in your particular market since you've been in contract in the last couple of weeks. So Oliver, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. Let's have you go first.
Okay, yeah, so Sonoma County is hot. So to put it in perspective, Petaluma market has been on fire in the last few years. So what's happening is that people cannot afford it no more. So now they're moving a little bit up north. So they're going Rohnert Park, Cotati, Santa Rosa, and then once you hit Windsor, then it's pretty hot up there as well. So I would say between Rohnert Park and Santa Rosa, there's still reasonable homes that you could buy, right? So what we've been seeing is that homes are staying a little bit longer on market, and there has been like price cuts for a lot of homes because they've stayed on the market for longer.
So Oliver, let me ask you a question for the people that have, consumers that are potentially thinking about maybe getting out of Marin, going a little north, getting a little bit more bang for their buck. Why is Petaluma so popular? Why are the prices getting driven up in Petaluma? Is it new builds that are happening right along the freeway there? Is it the access to the water? Like, what is it about Petaluma that's driving prices up?
Yeah, no, just everybody loves Petaluma as the town. They have the historic downtown Petaluma where they have all the Victorian homes. And yeah, they have new builds that they're popping up and everything. So, I mean, it has become a very hot market in Petaluma. I mean, just to put it in perspective, you could probably get like a two-bedroom, two bedroom, two bath, probably for like in the high eights. As
Wow.
opposed to Santa Rosa, I mean, you could get three-bedroom home in the sevens in a nice
Wow.
neighborhood.
Cool, man. So really good understanding of his market. In the last 30 days, how many people have you put into contract, Oliver?
Last 30 days, 3 people.
3 people in contract. So it's obviously worked for him. He understands the market at a very high level. Let's go over to Patrick. Patrick, I know that you're driving, but I want to hear from you. You serve kind of Peninsula, San Francisco, that market. So once again, complete contrast. It's completely different. So Patrick, what are you and your partners experiencing in your market right now? Let's hear from you, Patrick.
Gotcha. Good morning, guys. I'm just parking real quick. Safety first. Yeah, so with San Francisco market, what I'm seeing is that buyers are coming out, obviously, because rates are coming down. People are becoming more enticed to go house hunting again. But just seeing there's a lot of TIC properties that are in San Francisco that, rates are different when it comes to that, different loan structure. So it kind of turns them off. But also on the investor side, I'm seeing a lot of people that are sellers that are willing to almost take a loss, before they're looking for a net profit. But now it's kind of like they're so motivated to get out of California or get out of this, real estate territory that they're like, okay, I'd rather break even or even offer some financial incentives for the buyers. So I'm kind of seeing a mixture of that. But still, I think it's a little bit slow still with the condo side. What I'm seeing is a lot of fix and flips and fixtures that are moving a lot really here. So
Yeah, do you think it's a good opportunity for somebody, depending on who they are, what their budget is, to purchase a condo in, I don't know, in one of the districts in San Francisco? Do you think it's a really good time for someone, to buy and hold for a condo in San Francisco right now?
for sure, yeah. And so what I like to tell people is that it depends on your capital, depends on your financial stability. If you can if you're comfortable with more than 5,000 a month, 6,000 a month, or if you have a large sum of money to do a down payment to counter that mortgage, then yeah, no, for sure. Go. Yeah, we're seeing a 30% discount, 34% discount in condos in certain areas and neighborhoods. So you can definitely play the equity game, right? 2 or 3 years later, you can see some rise and increase into that. But depending on your financials, like I said, if you're looking for a single family home, if you have a family, then I highly advise going across the bridge, going to Richmond, Oakland, Berkeley, all that stuff. A lot cheaper, and a lot more bigger square footage.
Wonderful. I appreciate the insight. I appreciate the update. Let's go over to Liz Norton. Liz Norton, tell us again one more time what markets you generally serve. Where do you live? And she loves when I do this. Where do you live first off, and then what markets do you generally serve?
So I moved to Concord last year, but when I was doing real estate before, I was primarily in Oakland and Berkeley.
All right. So fast forward to today, the consumers that you're talking with, the markets that you're searching, the areas that you're showing homes in, what are you experiencing? What are you seeing? What are some trends or patterns that you're seeing right now?
All right. Well, first of all, I just started last week again. So I have an upcoming open house in Alameda. I used to live in Alameda, so I'm very familiar with the area. I know in Berkeley and Oakland, sometimes the pricing for single family homes can be a little bit wonky, where you'll see clearly a house that's supposed to be 1.5 million be listed at 899. Generally speaking, I would say that if you see a house in Oakland and Berkeley and it's a hot home, you're probably going to end up paying 20 to 30% over asking.
Yeah, especially, depending on where you are. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever wrote on a home in Berkeley, like Berkeley is one of those anomalies in the Bay Area. You don't see a lot of price reductions in Berkeley. You see people willing to go 100, 200, $300,000 over. If you're in Poets Corner, they're looking at a 2-bedroom, 1 bath that's literally 1,000 square feet, and they're willing to pay for the environment and the opportunity to live in Berkeley. It's just one of those places. Places like Piedmont, Montclair, those places in parts of Oakland are still going to be at very, very high demand. And so, I love this insight. Liz, tell us about the open house on the weekend in Alameda. What are you expecting? What are you prepping? What are you preparing? And what do you know about that Alameda market?
So I picked it up from Jen Oak, I think is her name. So it's off of Central. It's near the east end of Alameda. The market out there is really hot too. There's a lot of families that want to move into that area just because of the school system. This condo is actually located near Alameda High School, which is probably the better high school that's in Alameda. I pick up my open house signs today in Fremont, so that's really like my day is like going all the way out to Fremont and coming back. But I am also working on my spiel because this is the first time I'm going to do an open house with the buyer broker litigation that came out. So really just prepping for that mostly, and then just looking and seeing what homes are on the market, kind of the price structures that everyone else has their condos priced at. This is a condo, because I know, again, like single family homes out there, they're going to be priced a little bit differently. Mostly in Alameda, from the past experience I've seen, you're not going 20 to 30% over asking. You're probably staying near the asking price.
What about if it's a single family home, quintessential all-American street, tree-lined street, perfect for trick-or-treating, turn of the century, bungalow style homes? What about those homes? Do you think that those homes are selling well over asking?
No, Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's a little crazy out there.
it is, and it's all depending. But curious to see how the traffic is for the condo. I want to circle back with you next Wednesday. Patrick,
Yeah.
you threw your hand up again. I appreciate your contributions, Liz. Let's go again. Patrick, you had your hand up.
Oh yeah, just a quick little one. With the open house that Liz was talking about, with the buyer's representation, the NAR settlement, all the new stuff that we got to do. I just hosted an open house for Chris. Thanks to Mama San for hooking me up in San Jose. But obviously I had to do my research, right? Had to do the documents and whatnot. But I had to print out the OHNI is what it's called, OHNI-SI. And what I found out is that it worked tremendously in our favor as hosts, because it kind of opens up the avenue for conversation to potentially buyers that are not represented by agents yet. For example, if they really like the property, right, they're going to obviously ask for disclosures or more information. But because of this new NAR settlement, we can't tell them more than what is stated in the flyer. So if they want more information of the house or the property, then hey, please go sign your name and your email and your phone number in that OHNI form. And then I'm more than happy to send your disclosures, or should I send it to your agent? Are you working with anyone? Is somebody helping you navigate the market? And then boom, it's a perfect segue for you to do your pitch. I got like 4 buyer leads in like 3 hours.
And when you say when you say pitch, just so we understand, you mean talking to them about BRBC compensation and exclusively working with you, correct?
Right. So when I hosted the open house, I have all the documents, the new ones. I have a NAR settlement handbook ready, what that means for the home buyers. I have all the written settlement 101 right there, just for all of them to garner some curiosity on what's happening with the NAR settlement, and kind of opens up the idea of like, oh, something's new, something's hopping up, and what is this? What is that?
Yeah, and I would have that stand up in every single room of the house, right? They should be seeing new rules, new policies, new consumer rules, new policies, right? I want them to have that curiosity as they're walking through the house. So when they do come to you, then they say, wonderful, I'd like to know a little bit more about this property. Wonderful. It's 2 bedroom, 3 bath. It's 1,200 square feet. It's on a 5,000 square foot lot. Wonderful. Does it need any work, any repairs? In order for you to go to that level, you have to have a BRBC. You cannot send out disclosures, because that is a agent to consumer activity, and that will get you in trouble if you are sending out disclosures to consumers without having a BRBC sign. So I like the approach, Patrick, of what you're doing. Please redefine or restate what that document was. Beth Ann had a question. Tell her what it is and what the acronym stands for.
Sure, gotcha. Yeah, I just typed it in the chat right now, and I'll get the link for you guys.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and throw that in. All right, cool. So really good stuff, Patrick. Thanks for your contributions. Thanks for your insight. Really appreciate it. Let's go over to, I want to try to get somebody that is not driving. I see you guys on the road today. So let's go over to, let's see, Dominique, let's hear from you. You have an interesting perspective being on the appraisal side of the business. So want to hear from you. What are some things that you're seeing, trends, patterns, conditions? Let's hear from you. You always have positive insights on Wednesday calls. Let's hear from you.
I actually have a very interesting, I met with about 48 moms. I'm in a mom group, and I sent out private DMs because I have to keep up with market conditions, and I have to talk about in my reports, what are consumers reacting to, what are they not reacting to, and what's going on with the market. And so on the call, there's about 48 moms. I just kind of touched base with them about what's going on. And this one lady talked, and she spoke and said that she will probably use a real estate attorney to move forward with purchasing her home, because now they're looking at, the news says that agents are getting $30,000-$60,000 on commission, and it's really not worth it, because the first agent we ever used was so crappy, and we did not like the person, and it just wasn't worth it. So she ended up saying and giving the advice to other moms on it that they should use a real estate attorney. And so that's going back to me. I've kind of been on the slow side of the real estate side, but my appraisals have obviously kept things pushing over here. That's making me realize that getting back into this, I have to keep up with what I know, my knowledge, and how I will represent myself as my business. because now what is it that I can provide and tell them why I'm any different and why should they work with me, right? Not only just knowledge, but what do I bring? Are there any designations and certs that I need to get to better help my business and tell them that they should work with me rather than with a real estate attorney, and showing them that so a lot of people that you're going to work with too are not just first-time home buyers. A lot of them will have a house that they need to sell and then buy again. So you're working also with an older group of people. So you have to know your different levels of who you're working with. So some people will be fine with you saying, no, work with me. I've produced, this much in this amount of time that I've been a realtor, and X, Y, and Z, but sometimes it's not good enough. Sometimes you have to bring forth what else is it that you have done? What designations, what certs do you have? And so that just kind of made me realize, as a business owner, what is it that I can provide? And that's more of a resume, right? A resume that a lot of realtors actually don't give to their potential sellers or buyers. So what I'm seeing is that, and more moms spoke in the group, but what I'm seeing is that a lot of real estate attorneys are amping up their business now, and they're promoting that you can pay them $1,000 to $3,000 to write up their contracts, look at their contracts, and push the deal through. And so they're coming after our business, what we worked for, what we, they obviously they're real estate attorneys. So they obviously did a lot of work too, right? But their initial thing was coming at real estate from a different point. And now we're trying to save face on that aspect and then other aspects too. But how can you do that? It's just more of what it is that you are putting into your business and what you're putting out and showing your clients. So that's kind of what I got for you. Not so much any market trends at the moment, but so much of what I got from that meeting that I held with those moms, and what is it that us as agents can do and come together, because if not, they're going to try to come and take our business. They're trying to take our commission. So it's just something that we all have to collaborate and work on together.
I think this is a really, really healthy conversation track, because here's how we got here. We got here because over the years, it was never very clear what we did as buyer's agents for consumers. Like in the case of the moms group, someone said, oh, my agent, they weren't that good, right? Our consumer rating, unfortunately, is at about a 10% nationwide for realtors. Why? Because up till now, right, nobody has really understood everything that we do behind the scenes. Now, what have we done? We've updated our marketing, our buyer's consultation. We do not skip corners because we have to do a buyer's consultation before. There's probably people on this call that have gotten into contract that never even did a fucking buyer's consultation in the old world. Well, now we're in a world where we have to slow down and share all the things that we do, from reviewing documents to negotiating with the listing agent, to understanding the terms, to making sure that you're writing solid offers, making sure that you understand all the reports, that you're analyzing them, that you're linking them up with their general contractor. So if they have questions about cabinetry, replacing the floors, what does it take to fix this section 1? What does section 1 even mean? What does that roof repair mean? How long until I need to replace the roof? All the things that you guys do, that that you do, reviewing HOA docs, right? Knowing all these things, now a consumer is able to see it, we're able to articulate it, and we're able to illustrate it in a way that we have never had to before. So when we go up against a lawyer situation, the lawyer is going to be very reactive. I need you to write an offer for me on 123 Main Street. Wonderful. From a legal standpoint, from a compliance standpoint, you're absolutely right. That lawyer can do that. But is the lawyer going to spend countless amount of hours doing all of the things that I just mentioned? Are they going to go over line by line every single report, every single disclosure, every single nuance and pattern and market condition? Are they going to go over all that with you? And are they also going to be the skilled negotiator that's going to go back and forth with you and negotiate the best price for that home, to get you credits, to get you concessions? Are they going to do all that? And my answer to that is absolutely not. They're going to be in a very reactive role to write that offer for a consumer. So is there people that want to go out there and try to cut corners, and the lawyer's going to do it? Yeah, I'm sure that lawyers are probably going to pick up some amount of business. But if you're able to show the consumer from the moment that you start talking with them, and all the content that you're posting and all the things that you guys do behind the scenes, there should be a clear delineation from I'm a lawyer, that's a realtor, and it is vastly different. And I'm so glad that you brought this topic up. Let's go to Blessing. You had your hand up, and I'd love to get anybody else's contribution and thoughts on this.
Yeah, just as a continuation of what you said, as Dominique was speaking, I was thinking about a lawyer is going to absolutely just take the order. They're not going to.
Oh, you accidentally put yourself on mute.
Okay, they're going to absolutely be the order taker when a consumer goes to them and say, I want to write an offer in this house, because if they're going to charge a flat fee, they're going to do it just for the contract. But once it starts to get a little bit, heavier, they're going to start to tack on those fees and, let it go to any type of negotiation. And they have to add those billable hours. I don't know a pro bono attorney that has continued pro bono through their entire career because they want to get paid just like we are. But if it does move to a situation where a consumer, like the attorneys are just taking on writing the contract, think of the disservice that is to the consumer, because now they're operating without all of that information that we have behind the scenes. That's really difficult sometimes to articulate how much we have to decipher, and being on the ground talking to neighborhoods. I don't know an attorney that's going to go door knocking to get the information on a neighborhood so that they can inform their consumer just to write a contract. So I think that at first I was very nervous about the lawyer stepping in, but then recognizing our value and how much we know, we have such an incredible value that we just have to stop and recognize. And the way to remind yourself of that value is through the buyer's consultation. Every single time I've done one this week, I come off that call certain that I'm a badass in this industry. Like, it's just doing the buyer's consultation, talking about it, because you turn on the light bulb for that consumer of all the things that they just don't know. They think that the HGTV is how it works. I don't know an HGTV situation for any of us. So we just have to remember that there are these people who want to take shots at us. It's unfortunately, there's been bad actors and bad characters that have made it look super easy, and we're just, running straight to the bank, leaving a trail of victims in our past. But we really do have an opportunity to level up and bring such professionalism and clarity that it's almost an honor to be in the business at this point. Like, that's the way I'm going to see it going forward.
And you're so right. We get to share with consumers what we actually do for them, right? They pulled the veil back and now it's all exposed. So you're either going to be able to articulate what we do, and you have an opportunity to do that, or you're not, and this business will not be for you. Imagine you get on a buyer's consultation and you're talking to them about the process, about your strategy, about city ordinances, about partnership or relationship and agency agreement. But while I have you, Tom, I want to go over a case study. And this case study is the Lopez family that I was able to get a home in Concord. Now, over the course of 3 months, we saw 45 homes. We went to 3 different counties. There was endless nights of reviewing this document, this document, this document. I went through negotiations after negotiations, was able to save them $20,000. They used $6,000 of that to purchase or buy their rent, or excuse me, their rate down. And they're in a beautiful community in a subdivision that they love. The school district is rated at an 8 or a 9. That is a case study. A lawyer can't say that. A lawyer can say, as I wrote up a legal contract for you. Well, wonderful. What about all of the other things that you guys do? This is a huge opportunity for you guys, and I'm so glad that you brought this up. Let's go Aaron, Chris. We'll go Daniela. We'll go, I think Cynthia had her hand up, and we'll go Dominique as well. Aaron, Chris, what's your contribution?
I was just, but what both Dominique and Blessing said kind of has sparked some thought with me. And I think that, to your point, and to everybody's point, we do these buyers consultations. We spend a lot of time communicating with buyers. And I guess, like you're saying, a lot of people don't see that and don't know it. So it's clear that we have to articulate our value. But I think that what's going to happen with these realtors, and much like the settlement, everything's going to shake out. But buyers are going to realize, yeah, they'll write a contract, but the second you have a question about anything, they're, oh, that'll be another $150 for this. And then next thing you know, every question that they're asking us, calling us, texting us, emailing us, that we're diligently answering and getting back to them on with enthusiasm, they're not going to get that same energy from attorneys. And it also seems like with real estate attorneys, like their whole function to begin with was, litigation over real estate suits and stuff. And I feel like by them writing just a contract and sending it off, it's just paving the way for them to have more lawsuits with each other, because a lot of stuff is going to be lost in the weeds when consumers don't have people there answering questions. You only have somebody there writing a contract. There's so much that's lost in translation. And so I'm open. I mean, I'm watching it happen, and I'm almost encouraging it, because I feel like it's going to be something that blows up in the faces of people who think that a real estate attorney is going to fix all their problems.
And listen, and you know what? Consumers think that we're money grabbers. Hold on a second. Stitzer and Barnett, the whole settlement, NAR settlement, who became millionaires through this? Was it the consumers? Did the consumers walk away with millions in their pocket? Or did it give birth to a new era of lawyers that are now sitting on millions and millions of dollars? Now the opportunity has arisen, like, oh, now we can go in and find opportunity to make more money, or maybe sue, or try to find a loophole. It was a fucking money grab. It was a money grab. And now other people are coming after it again. So this is when we have to put our dukes up and we have to be defensive. And the way that we're going to do that is prep, plan, prepare, and make sure that we're providing the highest level of value. Aaron, I appreciate your contribution. Let's go Daniela, then we'll go Dominique, Cynthia, and Beth Ann, and then that will be the final contribution.
Awesome. Thank you. So real quick, content I think is more important than ever, because that's the beginning of our funnel, right? That's how we get all of our leads, so we can book these buyer appointments. We may run into, like Dominique said, where we're kind of going against a lawyer, right? So in our content, the basic level of marketing is basically just saying, I provide this service, which is I help you buy a home. But the top level marketing is where you hit your consumer in the feels. We know that emotion is the leading a factor into a consumer making a decision, and that's going to lead them whether to hire us or not. So like we've all kind of talked about how a lawyer is not going to do this, a lawyer is not going to do that. We can still promote that part of our business without promoting it, right? We can still evoke that emotion in our content, because ultimately that's going to land us the appointment. Once we're at the appointment, if we've done our job, I know that a lot of us have these last couple of months of preparing ourselves and talking to the consumer, but really think of your content now. We have to kick it up a notch and really hit the consumer in the feels so we get that appointment.
Totally. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Let's go over to Dominique, then we'll go Cynthia, and then Beth Ann. Dominique.
Yeah, so one of the things that I told the group that I was talking to was that most lawyers probably don't hold e-keys. And when you're in a market like the Bay Area and it goes fast, good homes go fast, you need to get into the home before an open house. So that being another thing that lawyers can't do and won't do, especially for a flat fee. And then also this is the shit show, because so many real estate attorneys are actually promoting on Facebook, going on KTVU. I've been following it like crazy. They're really trying to come from it. So looking at those videos and those articles and seeing what the real estate attorneys saying they can do for you that realtors don't do, and then looking at their numbers that say that we get, is a good way for you to come at your potential clients and say, this is not what's going to happen, and it's not what's true, and this is really what it is.
Totally. God, I love this. Cynthia Jackson, and then we got 2 minutes, you guys, so I want to be very mindful of our time. Dominique, thank you for your contribution. Cynthia Jackson, let's go to you, rapid fire, then we'll end with Beth Ann.
Okay, so just so happened, my t-shirt is on topic here. Stop court crimes. Okay, it starts with the attorney. I gotta tell you. So I'm saying that because I know firsthand how attorneys operate, and any opportunity they can get to jump on anything. I mean, they'll find anything to try to attack. But this t-shirt represents how hard we have to fight to maintain our position. You know, Like we really do. We have to fight for it. And I think that being on these calls gets us well prepared and also with the work that we have to put in. The
That's right.
key is to, just like Dominique just said, I think that was Dominique, whoever said tap into the emotion. Like that's advertising, everything centers around emotion. So that's what we have to do.
That's right, 100%. Beth Ann stepped out of frame, so if she comes back in the next 10 seconds, we'll get her contribution. There she is. There she is. Beth Ann, rapid fire. I want to respect everybody's time. Let's go.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
The biggest thing I want to say is, as realtors, we're more counselors than we are anything. I think we're there to help the clients get through the fear of purchasing a home. And there's it's a lot of money to be buying a home. And that's where I think that's our value, is helping clients get past that fear. And I think attorney is just going to add fear every step of the way. And I think things are going to blow up a lot more if they use their attorney. So I do think sorry, I've been running. I feel like that's our gift and our talent, and that's how we help our clients every single day. So I'm actually excited. And I think attorneys will go away. I just don't think the day-to-day effective purchase at home works well with an attorney. So that's my feedback.
I really appreciate that. I mean, there's going to be a level of empathy, understanding, and really being able to put yourself in an emotional state that the consumer is going through that the lawyer is not going to care about. Now, there's obviously going to be consumers out there that may work for them, but for the majority of consumers, this is a trying time for them. It's a stressful time for them. It's an emotional roller coaster, and what they want is they want an advocate on their side. They want a Dominique, they want a Anna, they want a Liz, they want a Patrick, somebody that's going to guide them through that. Right? I can go to the self-checkout anytime, but I want that human interaction, and I never go to the self-checkout. So you guys, I appreciate the conversation at a very, very high level. Let's continue to always show up, be here, support one another, come up with thoughts, ideas, dialogue, because this is how we all practice and get better. So you guys, I appreciate your contributions at a very high level. Thank you. I respect your time. So I'm going to get you guys out of here. But as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and be aware of this. Know that right around the corner, Christmas and Thanksgiving are right around the corner. So all the actions that you put into place today are going to come to fruition in the winter months. You guys, act now to support the person of the holiday season, the new year, because it's right around the fucking corner. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. Peace.